All right. So today we are going to be rebuilding the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is being filmed on Tuesday. So this past weekend they lost to the Bills 27 to 24. I thought they played pretty well in that game. I know they ran the ball for I think 120 yards on only 14 carries. I thought they definitely should have ran the ball more. But this is a team, they have a bright future. They're young.
You can start four with preset
They,
contract options.
they can run the ball, they can throw it. Liam Coen has turned out to be a great hire for them. So this is the start of that offseason. We're going to re-sign some key players here. I think Devin Lloyd, he's been so good for them. 87 overall. Superstar Dev, only 27 years old. I'm actually willing to go 4 years on this. And he's very interested in coming back, so I think we can probably get him for 13 million a year. So that would be, 13 million for about 4 years, so 4 years, 52 million. So we're going to re-sign Devin Lloyd. He's going to quarterback our defense for a while. Travis Etienne, I definitely would like to bring back. I like just him and Trevor Lawrence have played together for the longest time. I would like to keep him in Jacksonville. We'll give him a 3-year deal. He only wants 8. I know he's not really interested in signing back with us, so I think we're going to offer him 10.5. So it would be about 3 years, a little over 30 million. So we'll keep ETN here for the long haul. Jacoby Myers in real life re-signed with them on a 3-year deal. I think it was 20 million. Obviously we don't have to go that high here. We'll give him 16 million though for 3 years, so it's somewhat close to the real offer. So we'll keep Jacoby Myers here. We still have 61 million in cap. This is where it gets interesting with the Jaguars though, because we do have Travis Hunter coming back from that knee injury. He is playing both ways. Our other corners right now, I know we have Jordan Lewis and someone else I can't think of the top of my head, but I do want another at least third solid or fourth corner, only because, with Travis Hunter playing both ways, you kind of need stability there. I would like to bring back Newsome. I think he's had a pretty good year for them. I think if we can give him, 10 million for 3 years, 30 million, he's like 1.5 more than what he's expected to get. So, yeah, we're actually going to keep him in Jacksonville. We got to bring back Harrison, our starting right tackle, so we're going to accept his option. Diami Brown, we're going to let walk. Monteric Brown, we're going to let walk as well. Andrew Wingard, I think maybe on a 1-year deal. We do need to address for defense. For defense, I know, safety and defensive tackle. But I do like him as a depth piece. I always, I said this in a few videos that I did before that I do like having kind of 3 safeties to play with. So this is going to be 1 million, 5.5, a little more than what he's asking for. We're going to keep him in Jacksonville for another year. And besides that, I don't really have anyone that I'm interested in keeping here. These are all kind of, just depth pieces. I think we can address a lot of these guys in free agency and the draft. So we are going to head straight into free agency and see, who we can add to this team to make better. Okay, so we simmed ahead. I'm going to go over some of the free agency signings that I did. We did bring in Kenny Pickett as a backup for Trevor Lawrence. At running back, we did sign Sean Tucker from the Buccaneers. It was about a 2-year, $4 million deal just to back up Etienne and Tootin. I did entertain the idea of signing Rachaad White from the Bucs, but I really kind of want Tootin to get some playing time. He's only, going into his second year. He played great in that playoff game. We also signed Jake Tongues, which is going to be the man with the 49ers next year due to Kittle's torn Achilles. But we'll have him playing fullback for us in our third string tight end. Obviously, we have Travis Hunter coming back from that knee injury, but I love our wide receiver core right here. I think Brian Thomas, he kind of dealt with injuries all year, but I think he'll be a lot better next year. We got Jacoby Myers locked up. Parker Washington, and then, we have Travis Hunter can kind of play in the slot for us, be that third, fourth wide receiver for us and still play defense. At tight end, we got Tongues backing up Strange as well. And the offensive line, we kept the same. This was an offensive line that led the league in rushing, and they just signed, Macari to a big deal last year. We accepted Harrison's option. The biggest things we have to address in the draft, we don't have our first-round pick from that trade for Travis Hunter last year, so we really just need D-line help. We're pretty solid at linebacker, corner. Another safety would be good for us too, but it's really just addressing that edge rush as well as, another, D tackle or safety. So we have Trayvon Walker on the left side, Hines Allen on the right, D tackle. We do have Hamilton, but, he's kind of more of just like a guy that's going to stop the run. I want to get a lot younger on this front. Nobody in free agency was really there. That was for my liking. They were all older. We do have Devin Lloyd re-signed in the middle with Ulukun at weak side linebacker. We have Jordan Lewis coming back from foot surgery. Newsom's going to be our number 2, and we still have Jarian Jones as our 3. I did sign Tre'Davious White. I think he would just be a good veteran corner to have in the locker room. We also are going to have Travis Hunter playing defense as well, but I think we have 3, solid corners. White is still serviceable as well. We have Wingard, but our big offseason signing, if you guys can see, is going to be Jaquan Brisker. And I want to play, Brisker is more of kind of like in the box, but we are going to play him at free safety just because we do have Johnson on the strong side, and he's, a little bit bigger of a guy, 6'3", 195. But I like having Wingard to back them up, and we do have Eric Murray, who's just like a good veteran. But I really like Johnson and Brisker, 2 guys that can cover but can also tackle. This is filmed, on Tuesday, so it's the day after the Steelers and Texans game. And anybody who watched that game knows that defense wins championships. And not only can their secondary cover, but they come up and tackle, as well as their pass rush just getting after the quarterback at will. We got Cam Little, who can kick 70-yarders in his sleep, and Logan Cook as our punter. So we are going to start the NFL draft, go right forward to the second round. I don't really have anyone that I want to trade for or anyone that I want to trade on the team. So I think we're just going to draft, get into the offseason, maybe check out the trade block and see who's available. Okay, so we are here at the end of the second round. We are going to see who is available for us. Okay, so Jermaine Matthews Jr., I think we're pretty solid at corner. It's really going to be edge rusher. R. Mason Thomas is interesting. Derek Moore from Michigan. Harold Perkins. So I don't think Harold Person would be the worst. Even though we are pretty good at corner, I could see him pass rushing for us a bit. He timed really well. So I think we're going to go Harold Perkins Jr. here. Really, our linebacker core is going to be looking really good, but I do want Perkins rushing a little bit. So 88 in true value at 62, we're fine. He develops really good in this game, so I'm okay with taking him there. Let's go to the third round, see what's there for us. So I do want to go D tackle here. We could go other edge rusher. We are pretty good at safety now. No lineman really interested in. It's really just D tackle. There's no one really there right now that I'm interested in. So let's look at some offers we can get. We can move back for the 3rd and the 5th, a 3rd next year, a 4th this year, and a 4th next year, a 3rd, a 6th. Okay, so I think we're going to go with Minnesota's offer with a 4 this year and a 4 next year and a 5th. That's just some good draft capital to get. So we'll move back out of this round. Nobody that I want to get is there anyway. So we'll go in the 4th round. We do have another third-round pick anyway, so I really like the fact that we just built up on some capital just to move back. And they ended up taking Zane Durant, D-tackle out of Penn State with that pick. So if we take a look, I do like the idea of taking Xavier Harris here from Ole Miss. He's 6'7", 320, 22 years old, out of Ole Miss. He tested okay. He's obviously really strong. His acceleration's pretty poor, but he's going to be a good run stopper for us. Okay, so if we take a look at our draft recap, we took Harold Perkins in the second round, Darrell Jackson Jr. in the third as our new D tackle. We signed Michael Taffy out of Texas. Since Wingard, we only re-signed on a one-year deal. I wanted to get some more depth at safety. Kelby Givens from Southern in the fifth, and then just some other, late round picks. Nobody too interesting on that front. So we are gonna sim ahead to the start of the season and just take a quick look at our roster and then sim ahead. All right, so let's take a look at our roster before we sim ahead. We got Trevor Lawrence still at quarterback. We got ETN and Tootin. We ended up cutting Tucker just to save some more money. At wide receiver, we got our, Thomas, Myers, and Washington. Travis Hunter is still recovering from the ACL. We got Strange and Tongs. Our line up front is still going to be the same. And at edge rush, we have Walker. We are going to get Perkins to pass rush a bit for us as well. So I want him coming off the edge, specifically on the left side. At D tackle, we do have Darrell Jackson Jr., who we drafted, and we have Mason Smith as well. So Darrell Jackson will be a good third D tackle for us. We still got our linebackers in Lloyd and Olukun. And then at corner, we are looking good. Free safety, we're going to have Taff here as well, who we signed in, I believe, the fourth round. And then we got Brisker and Johnson. So I do want to start Brisker at the free safety and then keep Johnson starting at the strong safety. So we're going to do that. And then I think what we'll do is potentially at sub linebacker, we have Lloyd there, but we will let Brisker get some play there too. All right, so we are going to sim ahead and see how we're doing at the midseason mark. Okay, so at the halfway point, we are 3-4, not what we necessarily wanted, but it's still pretty early. Let's take a look at around the league, and Trevor Lawrence is leading the league in passing yards and touchdowns and fifth in passer rating. So good year from T-Law, about 1,800 yards, 17 touchdowns, 6 picks, 66 completion percentage. Getting some good, stuff out of ETN. Not great. Tootin's been playing really well for us. Pretty good wide receiver all around. It looks like Travis Hunter is starting to come back into play. Hines Allen is having a great year with 8 sacks already. Walker has 5.5, 2. Secondary, Brisker, 2 picks for us, 2 picks from Lloyd. So just a great year from Lloyd. So it seems like the team is doing pretty well. We are second in offense. Let's take a look at our depth chart real quick and see, where we got Travis Hunter playing. So we do have him at the 2. So I think what I want to do is make sure that Travis is in the slot for us with Parker Washington backing him up. So let's put Travis in that. Parker's going to be backing him up. Power running back, we got 2 in. Let's make sure at Gadget we'll keep that fine. And let's just look at slot corner real quick. Slot corner, we have Brisker. Yeah, so I'm not really crazy about him playing in the slot. So let's get, let's maybe get Lewis playing the slot for us. So we'll make some quick changes. Take a look around the league and see if there's anyone on the trade block that interests us. Maybe another playmaker at tight end or something. No wide receivers I'm really interested in. I think we're pretty solid there. So Fannin, they always make available, which is interesting because in real life, I don't see them really moving him. Maybe anyone pass rushers we could potentially trade for. Let's take a look at Cleveland real quick and see if they would be interested. Yeah, because they have Graham and Malik Collins. So let's see if they would be interested in moving Mike Hall. Okay. And I think we would do that for our 4th round pick. He's only 23 years old. We do have 2 4th round picks from that trade we did in the offseason. So we are going to trade for Mike Hall Jr., and we are just going to let him play right away. And I think that would be, good to kind of shore up the D-line a little bit because we have been pretty weak here. So let's get Mike Hall Jr., and yeah, he's going to be our main D tackle right away. So that's the only trade we're going to do. We're going to sim to the end of the regular season and see if we can, make the playoffs and go from there. Okay, so if we take a look at the playoff bracket, we did not even make the playoffs. Definitely disappointing. Look at the Raiders finishing as the 1 seed after drafting Mendoza. Even though we didn't make the playoffs, we finished at 7-10. We do get our contract extended. Let's kind of see what went wrong because Trevor Lawrence led the league in passing touchdowns. He had a great year. 4,200 yards, 38 touchdowns, 11 picks. Our rushing game wasn't great, even though we re-signed Etienne. So maybe that's a guy we consider moving and kind of, turn it over to Tootin to be our star guy. Our wide receivers were solid too. We had 2 1,000-yard receivers. Hunter had 800 yards. Blocking, Little gave up 18 sacks, which is a lot. So we might have to move on from him and shore up the O-line. 146 tackles and 3 picks from Devin Lloyd. Newsom played really well for us, 99 tackles. Hines Allen had 13 tackles for a loss, 11.5 sacks. So Lewis had 2 picks for us too. He's kind of been a staple back there. So, it just looks like it wasn't our year. So we're definitely going to have to make some changes because this is a good team. Going from winning the division to being a 3 seed to not even making the playoffs is a big step off. Our offense was really solid all year. Defensively, it looks like that's where we struggled, which is kind of surprising because we really kind of focused on defense as well. Let's see, turnovers. Yeah, so we're going to have to make some big changes here. We're going to head to the offseason and see what we can do to make this team better and try to make a playoff push. Okay, so if we take a look at the season recap, the Packers win the Super Bowl over the Colts. Trevor Lawrence wins the MVP for us. Pete Carroll, Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. Jamar Chase, Defensive Player of the Year. Matayo Uiagalelei from the Lions. Carson Beck wins Rookie of the Year for the Falcons. And Defensive Rookie of the Year is also Uiagalelei. So let's take a look at his stats because that's kind of crazy. But Trevor Lawrence does win the MVP for us, which is great. Goff didn't have a great year. Oh, wow. He had 18 sacks as a rookie and 13 tackles for a loss. So that's pretty good. So let's head into the offseason. Maybe a big trade could be coming, and we'll see what we can do to improve this team. Okay, so as we get into negotiations here, we have $50 million in cap. We are going to accept Brian Thomas's 5th-year option. I do want to keep Trayvon Walker as well. He's been pretty solid for us. He's young enough too, and he wants to come back. So we'll go 3 years at $16.5 a year, and he's going to stay with us. Antonio Johnson, because we have Brisker as well, he is star Devin only 25, and we do have Wingard leaving. So I think we will actually bring him back, but we'll do a 2-year deal for $8 million. So we'll keep Antonio Johnson here. Ezra Cleveland, left guard. Definitely want to keep him around. Okay, so he's going to test. Let's see what a franchise tag would be. 18.2. Okay, so we are going to tag him. So that doesn't leave us with too much cap space left. Let's re-sign Brenton Strange. He's going to want a lot. So let's give him 11.5 a year. Oh, we don't even have enough. Okay, so let's just do what we can afford him at. He's probably going to have to walk. Yeah. Okay, so Brenton Strange is going to walk. We could restructure some contracts. I think Parker Washington we're going to have to let walk. Yeah, all these other guys can walk as well. So let's head into free agency and let's see who's there that we can add to make our team better and maybe do a trade real quick. Okay, so we're going to do a trade here with Brenton Strange leaving. We are going to trade for Aronde Gadsden for Xavier Scott, a rookie we drafted last year. They traded for Cole Kmet, so I think this makes him expendable. This helps us with the void that we have at tight end with losing Strange. So we do trade for Gadsden. He's going to be our starting tight end going forward. Now, we are going to entertain this trade as well, trading Walker Little and a third-round pick to the Panthers for Okongwu. This will give the Panthers more capital. I think Okongwu is a better player. He's younger, but with Little giving up 18 sacks last year, I do kind of want to move off him, and they are going to do this trade. So in our offseason, we do trade for Okongwu as well as Gadsden. We don't really have much in free agency, only about $7 million to work with. I think maybe we entertain the idea of bringing back Parker Washington if he would come back. So we'll do 3-year deal. Can't offer him much more than that. But besides that, we don't really have too much cap to deal with. So we are going to see if he'll re-sign with us, and then we will head to the draft and see what we can do from there. Okay, so we are at the NFL draft, and we didn't sign anyone free agency. We didn't have cap, but we do have the 11th overall pick on a pretty stacked team. So we are going to see who's available for us there to take. So if we take a look, Jeremiah Smith goes to the Jets, Colin Simmons to the Chiefs, Leonard Moore to the Cardinals, Ty Simpson to the Browns, Ryan Williams goes to the Vikings, Jaden Jackson to the Commanders, Seaton to the Jets, Julian Sain will be the new quarterback in Miami, Raiola goes to the Saints, and Dylan Stewart goes to the Bears. So if we take a look, who's available for us, who can really make us better. So we did just trade for a left tackle. Cam Coleman in this game is a stud, but we don't need wide receiver. We are pretty good up front besides left guard, but I think it's a little too rich to take a guard here. There is Luke Reynolds out of Penn State. We did just trade for Gadsden, but he did test pretty well. Okay, so we just took a look at the trade market, and there was no one really there that we can make with our cap, make it work out that we can get someone. So I think we are going to go with Luke Reynolds here out of Penn State, get another weapon. We'll go with him in Gadsden as well. And he was 15 in true value, says great pick. So, we'll just stack up on the offense there. We'll go to the next round and see who we can get. I think we're going to go with Trevor here out of Notre Dame. He didn't test bad. He didn't test great either, but he does have good speed. So we're going to get Trevor here, and then we're just going to fill out the rest of our roster and head to the offseason. Okay, so if we take a look at our draft recap, we drafted Luke Reynolds at tight end at our first-round pick. We got Trevor as another rusher from Notre Dame. We got Jadarian Price, who's a running back out of Notre Dame in the 4th round. Ben Roberts, Mike linebacker in the 5th, along with Teo Johnson from Utah. And then we got Aaron Karras, a backup right tackle, and Tashabala as a backup guard. So we are going to sim ahead to the mid-season point and see how this team is looking. Okay, so if we look at the halfway point, we are 3-4 again, which is kind of hard to see what is going on with this team. I feel like ETN really hasn't worked out with us too much. I mean, it's kind of shocking to see that we haven't been doing so well. Defense looks like they've been playing pretty solid. But we're 19th in offense in the league. In defense, we are, kind of we're just kind of middle of the pack. I think we have to move off of ETN here. We tried to make it work, tried to keep him here, but it just hasn't been working out. And we do have some injuries with Malum and Brisker. But let's see what we can get for ETN, and let's kind of hand the reins over to Tootin here. We do have a little good, not terrible depth behind him. So let's see what offers we can get. We can get Jonathan Franco-Myers, Sean Lattimore, Zara Newton. So nothing crazy. Wow, okay. So we're just going to trade ETN for Sanishill straight up. We're going to hand the keys over to Tootin to be our next back. And we just had to make a change somewhere. So we have some depth behind him. We're going to let Tootin be the guy. And if we go to it, we had to just make a move somewhere. And I liked what we had at wide receiver, and everybody on the trade market there was a little too rich. But Sanishill is going to move right in here. He's going to be our new corner number 1. And I do want to get, Travis Hunter in here playing both ways as well. So we are just going to make sure that Travis is going to be our slot guy going forward, and as well as our slot corner too. We can't even have him here. Okay, but we'll have him playing corner as well. And we'll put Lewis in this. Actually, we'll put Newsome in the slot and having Lewis back him up. All right, so let's sim to the playoffs and see if we can make a run. Okay, so if we take a look at the playoffs, we missed the playoffs again. 6-11. That trade didn't do anything for us. And Trevor ended up just not playing well down the stretch. We gave Tootin the keys to do well. I mean, we're going to have to do a major shakeup here. We can't end the rebuild not making the playoffs at all. Defense looks like it played pretty well, but it might be time we entertain potentially moving Trevor because, we can't go back-to-back seasons missing the playoffs. So let's sim ahead to the offseason and see what blockbuster move we can make. So if we take a look at the season recap, the Bills beat the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. Josh Allen's your Super Bowl MVP. Joe Burrow wins the MVP for the year. Brian Daboll, I guess, went back to the Giants and wins Coach of the Year. Josh Downs, Offensive Player of the Year. Crosby, Defensive Player of the Year. Nick Marsh, Rookie of the Year. And Ashton Hampton, Defensive Rookie of the Year. So we are going to sim ahead, and we are going to entertain a Trevor Lawrence trade and see what we can improve at quarterback. So before we get into entertaining trades, we are going to do our negotiations real quick. We are going to accept the option on Travis Hunter. We are going to try to keep Aquanu there because we do really need a left tackle. We're going to give him 3 years, $30 million a year. All right, so we're going to keep him around. Mike Hall Jr., who we traded for, I would like to keep too. So we will keep Mike Hall around. Ezra Cleveland, we do need to shore up the guard. We don't have cap for that. So, yeah. So we are going to have to come back here and potentially do some other re-signings. So we do have some big players. Let's keep Aquanu here. We do have enough cap for that to re-sign him. For Olakun, I mean. So we are going to keep Olakun, and then everyone else, we can come back after potentially a Trevor Lawrence trade. So let's sim ahead. Okay, so unfortunately, due to Trevor Lawrence's cap hit, we can't make any trade possible. We were actually able to do it to make the money work on both sides for the Chargers to get Justin Herbert, but I think it's a Madden glitch where you just can't do it when they say they're over the salary cap, even though they're not.
Here you can see.
Which is weird. But let's I want to look at his contract real quick and restructure so we would have $25 million in cap. Yeah, because there are some really good free agents available, and I want as much cap space as possible for this last run at a playoff push. Let's see if we can save some money on Hines Allen. No, we can't restructure him. Let's see if we can restructure Lloyd potentially. Yes. So we'll save another 2.58. So we'll restructure Lloyd and Trevor Lawrence just to get as much cap as we can and wait till you guys see who is available in free agency. We got Xavier McKinney, Vita Vea, Cooper DeJean, Joe Alt. So I think Joe Alt, he's very interested to shore up the line. And we also have CMC. CMC for a year could be a lot of fun. Let's just take a look real quick at the lineups. We definitely could do CMC for a year, Okwangu. So we are good at left tackle, but we could move Joe Alt to the right side. Wow, okay, so we couldn't even sign Joe Alt after giving him a great offer. Xavier McKinney goes to the Raiders, Vita Vea to the Falcons, Cooper DeJean to the Patriots, Joe Alt goes to the Falcons as well. Christian McCaffrey goes to the Ravens. Wow, that would be sick. So taking a look, we could potentially go another edge rusher, but we do have Tavon Walker. Maybe we move Nolan Smith and we can move Walker kind of on the inside. So let's see if we can do this. Let's sign him, and then that would leave us at 13.5 in cap. And then let's try to bring in Josh Jacobs for a year. There is Trey Benson as well, which would be solid with Tootin potentially. I could see this definitely happening. So let's try to get Trey Benson in here for a lot cheaper. We'll give him 3 years. Let's give him 2 because we don't know how he's going to play out. But I think that's a good offer for him. And then maybe we can sign. We have $6 million left for right tackle. It would have to be someone a lot cheaper. Yeah, maybe we can sign Terrence Steele, 74, 31 years old. Let's offer him a 1-year deal to improve that side of the ball. So let's see if we can get any of these guys to sign with us. So if we take a look at the free agency recap, we weren't able to sign Nolan Smith Jr. He signed with the Jets, but we did bring in Trey Benson. He's going to be our new RB1 with Tootin. We also signed Deion Dawkins for the line as well. We'll probably either move him or Okwangu to the right side, and then we did sign Terrence Steele as well. So I think we'll probably move Steele maybe at one of the guard spots. So let's take a quick look at how we're looking. We do need a backup quarterback. Yeah, Okwangu, maybe if he is on the right side, what is his overall? 78, so not as bad. So let's move Dawkins here as our starting left tackle. Our left guard, Willem hasn't been that great for us. Okay, so we are going to need a guard as well. Maybe, so let's put Steele as our new right guard, and right tackle will go Okwangu, but we still need line help. So let's see on the edges. We got Walker still. We got Hines Allen. D tackle we have all. So we could go D tackle as well, potentially, because that's kind of been an area of need. Our corners, we got Travis. We could use another corner as well. Our safeties, we do have Johnson and Brisker coming back. So, and if we take a look at our running backs, we'll have Trey Benson. Wow, that goes right up to an 87. So that looked like it could be a great signing for us. And our wide receivers are still looking good. With our tight ends, we have Gadsden and Reynolds. So it's either, D tackle or offensive line. So let's see what we can get in the draft. Okay, so we are picking at 5 overall. DJ Pickett, number 1, goes to the Dolphins at corner. This is an imported draft class as well. You can see Decorian Moore out of Oregon goes to the Bears. So we really need offensive line help. We could probably use another corner as well. We do have Devin Sanchez here out of Ohio State, who tested great. So we are going to go corner here and draft Devin Sanchez out of Ohio State. He played a little bit this year as a true freshman, but I think he's going to be really good. And he's actually number 1 in true value, and we get him at 5. So love that pick for us. Wasn't crazy about going corner there, but I kind of just had to trust my gut. It ended up paying off pretty well for us. We're going to look in the second round. You see Malachi Toney there from Miami goes to the Raiders. And we have the 37th overall pick. So we do really need to go offensive line or defensive line here. We take a look. So nothing great at all, really. Let's take a look at guards. These are all guys that should probably go in the later round. Huey, we did just sign. We do really need a right guard. And he tested pretty well, Lambert. So we're going to take Lambert here. A little too high to probably draft a guard, but he's going to start for us right away. They say it's a reach. We'll see what happens. We're going to make one more pick here and then sim the rest. Maybe get a wide receiver, maybe get a D tackle. We will have to see who is there for us for the taking. Let's take a look. Marcel Reed. Simmons. Longstreet. LJ McCray. So we're going to take LJ McCray here. He didn't draft terrible, but I do want another pass rusher. He's 6'6", 270 out of Florida. So we are going to take him here. And we are just going to sim ahead to the offseason and see if we can make one run. Here we go. So this is the team looking like. We got 1 year to really try to run. We got Lawrence and Benson in the backfield. We got Jacoby Myers on the outside along with Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. We got Dawkins at left tackle, Malum at left guard, Monham at center, and then we do have our second-round pick Lambert starting at right guard and Akwangu at right tackle. And then we got Gadsden and Reynolds. On the defensive side up front, we got Hines Allen. We got Michael Hall Jr. We also have Dante Jackson Jr. and then Trayvon Walker. At corner, we got our first-round pick Devin Sanchez, as well as Sandstrom and Newsome, and we still got Travis Hunter in here as well. And then we got Brisker. We still got our linebackers Lloyd and Olokun. And we got Johnson as well in special teams. We still got Cook, and we do have to sign a kicker because we did not have enough cap to sign a kicker. So let's auto upgrade these players real quick because there's a lot of upgrades that they need. Do it as best as we can for the sim. And then if we look at free agency, if we can sign a kicker. Because we didn't have enough cap to re-sign Little, so yeah, we will sign Chase McLaughlin. So we are gonna sim ahead to the mid-season point and see how this team is doing, and hopefully make a deep playoff run. And finally, we got the team coming around. We are at 6-1. Trevor Lawrence, 13 touchdowns, no picks. I think he took the fact that we were trying to trade him personally. He's playing really well. Trey Benson's been a great pickup for us. Him and Tootin are averaging 4.2 yards a carry. Receiving Myers having a good year. Thomas and Hunter as well. Defensively, we got Walker with 5.5 sacks. Hines Allen with 3.5 sacks. 3 picks for Devin Lloyd. Sandstrom with a pick. Johnson with 2 picks. So team is definitely doing well. If we look around, we have the 10th offense in the league. And defensively, we are about more towards the bottom end. But if we take a look at the standings, we are number 1 in the AFC and number 1 in the South. So finally, after 2 years missing the playoffs, we're kind of back in it right now. And let's sim ahead to the playoffs. And let's see if this team has what it takes to go all the way. Okay, so we are at the end of the regular season, and your Jacksonville Jaguars are the number 1 seed in the AFC. We finished 14-3. We have the first round bye. The playoffs in the AFC goes through Duval County and Jacksonville. We got the Broncos playing the Jets, Bills playing the Chiefs, Ravens and Dolphins, and we have your New York Giants as the 1 seed in the NFC with the Bucks at the 2 playing the Rams, the Cardinals and the Saints, as well as the Packers and the Falcons. I do want to kind of show you guys how the league is doing, like all the league leaders and whatnot, but we're going to take a look at how our players did. Trevor Lawrence, 3,700 yards, 31 touchdowns, 3 picks. Awesome year for him. Trey Benson ran for 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. Travis Hunter with 1,000 yards, Myers with 932, and Thomas with 780. And our defense, 12.5 sacks for Trayvon Walker, 7 sacks for Harold Perkins. We had 3 picks from Devin Lloyd, Sanistrell, Brisker, and Johnson with 2 apiece. We had 6 sacks as well. Hines Allen only had 6. It looks like he got hurt. If we take actually a look around the league, just to kind of see how all these other teams have been playing. If we look in the NFL, Joe Burrow led the league in passing, 4,800 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 picks. Mahomes had 37 touchdowns and 16 picks. Lenora Sellers, wow, 47 touchdowns, 10 picks, 4,300 yards. Dak Prescott is still doing it in Dallas. Josh Allen as well. Nussmeier is the new guy for the Rams. He had 36 touchdowns and 3 picks. That was a great year. Jackson Dart's still doing it in New York. Jaden Daniels with a good year. Jordan Love's solid as well. Herbert didn't have a good year, and we tried to trade for him, so that kind of worked out pretty well for us. Penix is a starting guy in Minnesota. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Julian Sayin, in his rookie year, 27 touchdown passes, 3 picks. That looked like a good pick for them. Bucky Irving led the league in rushing with 1,700 yards and 18 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor was right behind him. Kenneth Walker as well. And then you got Nick Singleton in his second year from Penn State doing it in New Orleans, as well as Ahmad Hardy from Missouri doing it for the Bears. If we look at receiving, Devontae Smith. Wow, who would have thought Devontae Smith would ever lead the league in receiving yards, but he did in 14 touchdowns. Jamar Chase had a great year for Cincy. Malik Neighbors as well, and T. Higgins. So the Bengals, man, they are always so good in this game. And if we take a look around the league, Jahad Campbell had 167 tackles. That is crazy. D. Winters with 155. Deshaun Barham from Michigan for the Colts. Justin Williams, as a rookie, 154 tackles. Let's see who led the league in sacks. Keldrick Folk from Auburn. He's going to be a top 10 pick for the Buccaneers. And Vita Vea had 15 at D tackle. That's crazy. I always love to see how the sim does these interesting things, like how we see how good guys are and stuff. But we are the number 1 seed. It goes through DUUUVAL. Let's see who we are going to face in the divisional championship round. So we are going to face the Baltimore Ravens. The Broncos beat the Jets. Let's take a look at this Ravens game. Lamar Jackson doing it all. Julian Sayin didn't even play bad either. And the Ravens have McCaffrey and Lamar Jackson. They are a force to be reckoned with. Lamar Jackson had 2 rushing touchdowns. Denzel Boston. So they don't even have they don't even have Flowers on this team either. But McCaffrey and Lamar is a crazy combo. We got the Bills beating the Chiefs on this side, so we'll play the winner of Denver and Buffalo. And on the right side, you got the Saints upsetting the Cardinals. Who do we got on the Saints? Dylan Raiola is the guy for the Saints. Kyler Murray's still playing quarterback for the Cardinals, but it looks like Dante Moore did end up getting hurt for them because he was the starter initially. Mark Fletcher Jr. and Singleton. So they got Singleton and Dylan Raiola kind of leading the way over there in New Orleans. We are going to sim ahead and see if we can make it to the AFC Championship game. And unfortunately, we get absolutely smoked by the Ravens. Didn't show up. We did have injuries to Hines, Allen, and Newsome, but I mean, it looked like it wasn't even a game. They only threw for 76 yards. Wow. That is shocking. Their defense must have just totally locked us up. Let's take a look at the team. Yeah, we only had 188 yards. They only had They had 196 rushing yards, but they only had 76 yards passing. We had 1 turnover. We just didn't show up offensively, and they beat us pretty handedly in Jacksonville. So you got the Bills and Ravens, and you also have the Saints and the Buccaneers. Look at the Saints upsetting the Giants. Dylan Raiola, man, he is just killing it in New Orleans. In Singleton as well. They have Troy Franklin, Romeo Doubs, Chris Olave. Not a bad team. We are going to just sim ahead to see who ends up winning the Super Bowl. And if we take a look at the season recap, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for the first time since Tom Brady, win the Super Bowl over the Bills, who make it to the Super Bowl again but fall short. Liam Coen is your Coach of the Year. Joe Burrow is your MVP back-to-back years. And this is a tough rebuild because, the Jaguars are a good team. And if you can look at our playoffs again, we were 14-3. We were the number 1 team in the league, and we just get destroyed by a good Baltimore Ravens team. And so, after losing to the Bills in the wild card round in the 2026 year, 2025, we end up losing to them. And then the next 2 years after that, we don't even make the playoffs till 2028. Then we get the number 1 seed and we lose in the first round. So I felt like we built this team pretty good. It's just, when the sim came, we didn't do enough. And we saw Trevor Lawrence win an MVP for us. We saw Liam Coen win Coach of the Year in 2 years. And, we did a good signing in Benson, and Travis Hunter was playing well. We just couldn't get over that hump. And I felt like we made some good trades and some good draft picks too. It just didn't come together for us. So this is a super fun team to rebuild, though. They're really good because they have good young talent, but they have really good, fun players to play with in the game as well. But this is our last video for the Jaguars, so we're going to end it here. Unfortunately, we fall short. Our next video is actually going to be on the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're going to try to reload the Eagles and see what we can do with them. But appreciate everyone tuning in, and until the next video.